Last year, I made 12 feature films, one film per month for the entire year. So I ended up starting the project in September of 2021, and I launched it by shooting my feature film Sheepland, which is not out yet. So we are here in Bear Lake, Michigan for the very first shoot day of Sheepland. Joel, say hi.
Too tired, hadn't had my coffee.
Yeah, so we got up here, we're exhausted. Just finished the very first scene in Sheepland. We're really excited. The biggest challenges for this film was actually just like not getting eaten by animals in the woods, because there's bears and wolves and dogs and animals that are just roaming around. So me and Joel would go out in the middle of the night shooting these scenes, and we would be hearing all this stuff, and we had to just kind of ignore it. The second film we jumped into was the folk filmmaker's documentary. This was a unique project because most of the footage was already recorded before the project had even started. It was just collecting interviews.
I think most people, once they get out of film school, want to do a big project. What they mostly want to do is find some company and just like sit back, do something small, and learn how to do a project right.
So for the third and fourth feature films, me and Joel split up and made two different movies over multiple months. Joel was working on a film called Hell's a Timeshare in Florida, which he went to Florida for about 30 days with his family to make this film. He helped by getting me to write it with him, so we kind of came up with the story before he got out there. While Joel was making that movie, I was making a film called Ramen Sucker Punch with my friend Edward Choka. We co-directed it. Basically, it was an idea that Ed had come up with, and I threw in some ideas from a different project I was working on at the time, and we kind of melded them into this little movie. And this was probably the longest project of the entire 12 features. I think it ended up taking like 5 or 6 months of time to end up making from start to finish.
It was getting hard not to crack a smile.
Yeah.
I think I did a little bit at
But it was
first.
actually kind of working. You were just like, you know, this little twitch in your face. You're like, it was like kind of unnerving in a weird way, but like in a good way.
Excellent.
I ended up making a film called 6 Days Alone, which is a movie that is completely comprised of iPhone footage, which was a completely new experience for me, using the iPhone in the way that I thought it would look best. I didn't try to make it look as aesthetically beautiful, but try to make it seem like it was documentary footage done by an amateur. And I think it has a very unique look. And to this day, it's the most successful film of the project. It's got about 7,000 views. One of our most successful projects. And it's really funny because it was a movie we shot in literally 3 hours. Joel Haver ran a contest which basically said, make a feature film in 3 hours, which sounds insane, but I had an idea I had been brewing for about 2 years, which was a movie shot in real time. It was basically Reservoir Dogs meets a stage play in a van. Doing it in such a short time, it really opened my eyes to the possibilities of what you can do as a feature filmmaker. You can make a movie in 3 hours, you can make a movie in 1 day, you can make a movie in a week that can rival something that you spent literal years on.
Just to make sure. Hey, we're almost ready to start. Can Leanne check her mic real quick to make sure it's working? Yeah, we won't be able to hear it as long as the green light is on.
So Joel ended up making this movie about a documentary about 2 camera guys in Chicago. I haven't seen anything about this. I have no knowledge of really what the movie's about other than I've seen some footage of it, so I really can't talk about it too much. I ended up making a film called The Heart's Intention. This movie was unique because I got to shoot a bunch of footage in a hotel, and I tried to sneak a lot of shots from the hotel employees, which was kind of like a game of cat and mouse to try to get that footage without being seen. The next movie I ended up making was Tell Me You Love Me, which is a sequel to my film Watch Me As I Go. We ended up going to Myrtle Beach to make the movie. This was a vacation that we were planning on doing anyways, so there really wasn't any budget incurred. It was unique to make this movie because I tried to use 2 lav mics. The first movie I only had 1, and both my lav mics were acting very strange when I was making the film.
Was it cold?
Yeah, it's really cold.
Really cold.
Once I got back from Myrtle Beach, me and Joel ended up running into doing a little one-day feature film. We ended up shooting this movie called Chlorine Reminiscing, which is kind of a spin-off of our main film, Chlorine. This movie is probably the worst movie in the project. It was just kind of something we kind of cobbled together. We wanted to get something done fast and fun and just have a good time doing it. Picking Up Pieces was a movie that I made when I moved out of my apartment into my parents' house for a few months. And I was basically at kind of rock bottom in terms of like what to do. I was very busy at the time, very stressed out, and I didn't really know exactly how I was going to complete the project. I ended up calling my friend Josh, and he was going through some stuff as well. And we ended up making the movie. We shot it in 4 days, like 4 really quick, maybe like 5, 6, 7 hour days each. It was very smooth. I don't think we had like any second takes for any of the scenes. Almost all the scenes were done in the very first take. Including there's like a scene at the end of the film where there's Josh is like screaming at me. That was the very first take of the movie.
Fucking tell me what you're doing!
And the final movie that we ended up shooting, which is an untitled film, is a movie me and Joel shot. It's a prequel to one of our other movies. And we were very, very stressed because we were going down to the wire. We only had a few days left for the end of the year. We wanted to film 12 features in 12 months, and we were coming down to, I think, like the final 4 or 5 days, and we ended up finishing just on time. And I remember calling it and wrapping it and just being like, Joel was, I think, digging this hole in the middle of the night, and like I was like, oh, that's it, Joel, that's the 12 features project. And Joel was like, yeah, let's go to bed.
All right, I think that's good.
What did I learn? What are the lessons I can kind of tell you guys about? The number one thing I learned is time does not necessarily equal quality. And I think a quality idea is quality whether it takes 100 days to implement it or 2 days to implement it or a day to implement it. So don't necessarily think time equals better. That would be my first lesson. I'd also say that money doesn't equal a better project. They weren't really big productions, and they ended up doing very, very well. Another lesson I learned if you want to produce more work quicker is to work with a diversity of people. Get different people involved. I think that if you are involving more people, you're likely to get a project done faster, because if you do one movie with one person and then another movie with a different person, you're not burning everyone out. You're not making everyone work for 12 features. And my final tip would be using the locations that you have. I think the one thing that made this project very special was using different locations. In one case, we went to my grandpa's house in Michigan. In another case, we went to Myrtle Beach. In another case, Joel went to Florida to make a film. Having unique, different environments is what makes films very interesting to watch, and it makes people want to engage with your art. So I think if you follow these simple tips, you're gonna make good art and you're gonna make good movies. I'm gonna be trying to make more videos this year, making videos and films and stuff. There'll be a lot of content coming out very soon, and I hope you'll enjoy that content. So thank you, peace, bye.